Hello everyone and welcome back to Cooking with Corn. I'm Chef Timms and today we have a very special recipe we're working on, which is going to require 3 very large ingredients. So without further ado, let's get started. Now the first of our ingredients is something that's going to be defrosted, something that's been on the shelf for a while, but I'm glad to get to use this as a special ingredient that hasn't gotten to see a lot of use here lately. This first ingredient would usually fatten up most recipes, taking up a lot of space. But recently, some new foundings have made him much leaner and easier to fit into your diet. So today, we're going to bring him out to let him defrost. He's coming off the shelf and going to join us for this beautiful recipe. For our next ingredient, we started him a little early, so let's see how he's coming along. Looks like we left this one in a little too long. But that's okay. No one minds a well-done demon. It'll be completely healthy for us. May not be that healthy for our opponents, but for us, it will be completely healthy. And finally, our last ingredient, something that is very fresh, but still needed a little bit more accelerated time to get ready. Something that needed a little refreshing. So for our last ingredient, one second. Of course, for those who are thirsty, he is too. We bring our bloodthirster, fresh and ready to finish off this recipe. And there you have it. We have everything we need for the recipe we're working on today. Stay tuned to see what we're cooking up here on Tim's Nation. Welcome back, all our 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ here with Tim's Nation. Still rocking my apron because, as I mentioned, I am cooking with corn. The last few weeks, I have been very driven to get a lot of my World Eater army painted. And while there is still some work to be done to these miniatures, as I'll mention again at the end of the video, such as their weapons and the bases where I haven't fully decided, the bulk of the model itself, the big chunk of it, are getting done and knocked out. And speaking of big chunks, this army today is bringing 3 big chunky boys. I'm very excited to debut them, 2 of which I've been working hard on the last couple of weeks, and it's been a lot of fun. I've been really driven to get these things done. So I'm excited to debut these guys here today with this Corn Daemonkin detachment. So we're going to make that short. We're going to make it quick. We're going to jump over the list so you guys can smell what the DJ is cooking. All right, so here is my World Eater's Corn Daemonkin detachment. Corn Daemonkin detachment allows you to take 1,000 points of demons, or in this case, Blood Legion units. So this allows us to get our big chunky boys in there, as well as having Mr. Angron in there as well. Otherwise, some of the detachment rules for this attack, some of the strats and detachment rules, well, there's a couple of them that are still going to be very strong. We'll talk about those for specific units. The detachment rule itself, though, what's that thing called? The blood tithe is going to, where in the past it's like go trying to get into the 4-up invuln. Probably not going to be as much as what we're going after today. We'll probably be trying to actually get to the Might of Corn to be able to get the blessings onto our big demons really quickly. And there's definitely some possibility to go after like Lance could be strong to get some of our, if we're going into heavy vehicles, to be able to go that 3 to a 2-up to wound. So there is still some benefits towards the blood tithe. But I think definitely now is the time we're getting to that 5 and getting the blessings on all my demons would be much better than in other detachments I've run with this army. All right, first off, we got 2 Forge Friends. These guys are next to get primed down the painting block. My Forge Fiends have 3 ectoplasma cannons, strength 10, AP 3 damage, full rerolls to hit at half range, so 18 inches. And at that same time, if they shoot at the closest eligible target at 18, full rerolls to hit. Not much to say here. These guys are excellent fire support, very, very strong, devastating damage, rapid fire 1 on their guns, hitting on 4s because world leaders, most of our shooting is -1 to their ballistic skill on their profile. So a lot of their stuff is going to be hitting on 4s. These guys follow the trend. However, the full rerolls hit. These just mop things up. One of the best shooting units. So still bringing 2 of them today and hopefully start getting these guys painted pretty soon. Next up, we're going to go right over into the big guys. First off, we have Angron. Angron is actually a World Eaters unit, so he's going to get the Blessings. He comes in at a toughness 11, 16 wounds with a 2-up, 4-up save. In combat, he's looking at 8 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 14, AP 3 for D6 plus 2 damage, or a sweep profile at strength 16 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 7, AP 2 for 2 damage. Both of his attacks have dev wounds. It's really, really nice to see now to be able to push some of that damage through. His Wrathful Presence ability lets him pick 1 of 3 abilities at the start of the battle round, and he can keep that going. It's the start of the battle round, not the start of the turn. Or not the start of the command phase. So he picks one of those abilities. We have it in effect, 2 of which are an aura, 1 is not. The first one allows him to reroll 6 of the D6 rolled for the Blessings table. Decent. Probably use that quite a bit because the other ones are pretty bad. Well, but decent. Would be better if you could still use it if he was dead to try to bring him back to life, but that's not the case, so we won't be able to use that to get him back. Then you have Overwhelming Wrath, which gives him a morale boost. If an enemy unit within 6 inches tries to fall back, they have to take a leadership test. If it fails, the unit has to remain stationary. Neat, cute, not that reliable. And then Driven by Ultimate Rage, ignores modifiers to weapon skills and modifiers to the hit rolls when in combat. Also a 6-inch aura for only World Eaters units, so it would not affect the Blood Legion units. His big ability is the fact that when he dies, you can roll your Blessings. If you use 3 of your 6s for your Blessings roll, you can resurrect him and put him into reserve to be brought back in your next reinforcement step. This is worded that it has to be your next reinforcement step, so you cannot rapid ingress him to try to be tricky beforehand. He also comes back with half of his wounds remaining, so he'll come back with 8 wounds, but it is still a 360-point big, brutal demon that was just destroyed coming back. So, and again, he dropped to 365 points, which makes him a little more viable. Before he was a little too expensive. Now at 365 points, when you look at his damage profile, even though his Wrath of Presence ability isn't really that strong, the amount of damage he can do with a 14-inch move, he's going to be able to club things very, very nicely. And that threat to come back is super, super huge, because even if you fail it the first time, you can still try the second turn, third time, whatever it may be, until the game ends. Next up, we're going to move over into Skarbrand. So Skarbrand is he's another named character, so he's not getting any enhancements. He is the guy who had his wings burnt off, so he doesn't have fly like the other 2 do. Instead, he has a 10-inch move, but he is one of 2 units in the Codex that has in their profile Advance and Charge, so he is able to get a little bit of a boost there to his move with an Advance and Charge. He also has an aura effect at all Blood Legions, so the actual demon units get +1 attack, but they're in 6 inches of his range. His stats, he comes in with a toughness 11, a 3-up save, 4-up invuln, and 20 wounds. Big 20 wounds there. Attacks-wise, he has 8 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 16, AP 4 for flat 6 damage, and alternatively can do 16 attacks at a sweep profile, hitting on 2, strength 8, AP 2, 2 damage. So both really strong profiles there. He does have a shooting attack. He's got a flamer attack because it's Torrent. 12-inch range for 2d6 shots of strength 8, AP 1, 1 damage. Pretty decent little thing on the Overwatch. If someone's trying to tie him up with some straggling units, he can clear some stuff there. And I've actually had some success with it just picking up Marines. All in all, he's a beast. He hits hard. He hits like a truck. And what's funny is when he depreciates, when he gets down to 1 to 7 wounds, he does not go to -1 to hit. Instead, he gets +2 attacks. So when he's near dying, he gets angrier. So, yeah, that's Mr. Skarbrand. He is one of the Blood Legion demons that we're taking. The other Blood Legion demon we're taking is this big old Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster does have fly. He has a 12-inch move, toughness 11 with a 2-up, 4-up. 18 wounds, so 2 under Scarbrand. Now, I did say it had a 2-up save. There is an enhancement, and since this is not an epic hero, this Bloodthirster can take that enhancement. That gives him a 2-up armor save. I think it's going to be really big for the Bloodthirster. That 2-up save on these guys, going from a 3-up to a 2-up, actually is mega impactful, because just with certain AP weapons and stuff, they're like, oh, AP 1, okay, I'm cool, I'm putting you on your invuln. No, you're not. I'm on a 3-up. So 2-up save on him, pretty awesome. Ability-wise, any Blood Legion, so the true demon units, within 6 inches of him get +1 to hit. So that's awesome for if you try and depreciate these guys. You can't really depreciate him because he goes -1 to hit. Well, he's going to go +1 to hit anyways. So that's pretty cool, pretty big. And it does help for some of the things like the Bloodletters. If they're nearby him, to be having those guys hit on 2s and their limited number of attacks can really turn over their damage profile and make it really strong. Also, at the end of the fight phase, you can select one unit that he's still within engagement range of, and you roll 8 dice. And for each 4-up, they take a mortal wound. So even if you leave a couple stragglers behind, not having that successful of a combat attack, or it's a big unit, he does have the ability to still finish them off and clear them out with just that extra damage. And that's the end of the fight phase, so that's done in yours and your opponent's turn. As far as combat is concerned, we gave him the Great Khorne Axe. Thought about going a little smaller with him since we have such big hitters, but I feel like I just want to make sure that anything tough, anything strong, anything that's got armor, toughness, wounds, that these guys just clear them. And so we gave him the Great Axe Khorne. Comes in at 7 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 16 AP4 for D6 +2 damage. Alternatively, a sweep profile of 14 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 10 AP2, flat 2 damage. He does still get the Hell's Breath shooting attack, which is D6 shots, Torrent Flamer. So half of what the shots that you get with Scarbrand. Strength 5, AP1 damage. So not quite as good as Scarbrand's, but we're a combat army. So to having that little extra flamer in there just to kind of burn off some infantry or just damage some infantry, it's nice just to clear those things off. Not going to be the game-ending thing. There's going to be a lot of times until I get practice with him, I'll probably even forget he has a flamethrower at all. But hey, he has it. He's there. His biggest reason, though, is that big combat attack, the big swings. Next up, staying with the demons, we have 2 10-man squads of the Bloodletters. Bloodletters have 2 attacks apiece, coming in at strength 5, AP2 for flat 2 damage. They only hit on 3, so getting them by the Bloodthirster would be really nice to be able to get that +1 to hit. Now, the Bloodletters have a stratagem out of this detachment, which is going to be one of the primary ways you're going to see them. Whenever a unit dies, mine or my opponent, once per battle round, spend a command point, bring these guys in wholly within 9 inches and at least 6 inches away from the enemy unit. No exclusion to being able to charge, so if we do this during the charge phase, which we don't really have any way in this list to do it, but if we do at any point in time, even during our turn, we do it in the shooting phase, these guys can still charge. So very strong stratagem. It's very strong, especially when destroying some of my units, to be able to go, okay, well, you destroyed a unit, but Bloodletters are still here, or we get some Bloodletter support. So these guys will be able to come in very quickly. It's like a weird transport thing of like some smaller units, like, oh, I blew these guys up. Well, guess what? Here are my Bloodletters. As far as abilities are concerned, each time an enemy unit that isn't a monster or vehicle is within engagement range of this unit and tries to fall back, they have to make a Desperate Escape test, and if they are battle shocked, they do it at an additional -1 for their Desperate Escape. So not going to see that very often. Bigger thing is the Instrument of Chaos gives them +1 to their charge, which is huge, because if we do deep strike them in, we can do an 8-inch charge. And then they give them Leadership 6 up because of their Daemonic icon that both of them will have. Next up, we got 2 squads of Fleshhounds. Biggest thing about Fleshhounds here is their ability. The fact that at the end of our opponent's turn, just says end of the opponent's turn, if this unit's not within engagement range of an enemy unit, you can pick them up and put them in strategic reserve. They have deep strikes, they can deep strike back down, so these guys are very strong for the secondary game. Being able to create an excellent screen, cover my backfield, and then later on score secondary points on things that I might have a little difficulty getting back for if I'm looking at behind enemy lines, engage on all fronts, or anything else that requires positional abilities. These guys have 2 wounds apiece, toughness 4. They have only a 5-up invuln, much like the Bloodletters. And in combat, they're coming in with 3 attacks at strength 5, AP 1, 1 damage, hitting on 3s. As well, the Sergeant, the Gorehound, as he's called, does get a Flamer, D6 shot, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. So that's there. Nothing to write home about, but hey, cool, we got a Flamer. One of the hilarious things about these guys is it's actually into psychic matchups. Because they get a 3-up Feel No Pain against psychic attacks. So these guys can get silly durability into things like Thousand Suns, or if just someone has a stray psyker that can do a heavy amount of damage, putting these guys in front and kind of soaking up those shots can really confuse your opponent when they're able to just 3-up Feel No Pain that damage away. Now we got to jump back over into the actual Khorne units, or the World Eater units, I should say. First up, we got a 10-man squad of Jackals. Yes, they are still primed. Yes, I am not looking forward to painting them because they're Jackals. But I'll get them done. I'll get them done here soon. So Jackals, we got a 10-man squad. Only thing for these guys, really the only reason we're taking them is because of the fact that they can sticky objectives. Being able to sticky objectives with these guys and then move over to another objective is going to be is just something I'd love to be able to have access to. It's a 65-point unit, and then the 10 dudes, so they can zone out a corner of the map, the backfield a little bit during the early goings of the game, and then kind of move over to another objective that maybe our big demons have hit, cleared, go over there, sticky it, move on with the game. So having one squad of these guys I really like, so I should probably get them painted up. But yeah, there's not really much else to say there. These guys are paper thin. They do have a 7-inch move, which is cool, but otherwise they're paper thin. They just get smacked and they go away very easily. And last, we have 3 2-man squads of the Chaos Spawn. So 6 Chaos Spawn in total, comprised into 3 squads. Chaos Spawn are the other only unit in the World Eaters Codex that does have Advance and Charge, and they are super quick. First of all, they have an 8-inch scout move, then they have a 10-inch move, then they have Advance and Charge. So these guys can get into your face turn 1 pretty quickly. As far as combat is concerned, each one gets D6 plus 4 attacks hitting on 4s at a strength 5 AP 1 for 2 damage. These are World Eater units, so they do get access to the Blessings abilities. The weapon skill 4 causes them to, when it can be swingy with your attacks, because you can just hit and ignore the fact that they're hitting on 4s, or you might end up dropping a bunch of dice on those hits. Also, the D6 attacks, again, can be swingy. You have 2 of them, so you have 2 shots at having one of them at least roll good to get a good bulk of attacks. And they do have 4 attacks base with that D6, so there is a good amount of attacks there, but they can be the spawn can be really swingy with the 4s to hit and the D6 number of attacks. Strength 5 AP 1 2 damage is pretty nice, especially considering that these guys are 90 points for 2 of them. And the biggest thing is again the move, the scout, the fact that they can advance and charge. So anything your opponent's putting out there is like a scouting unit that's a bit softer, these guys can slam into and just shred them. They have a 4-up save, toughness 5, 4 wounds, but also a 5-up Feel No Pain. So they do have some resilience and durability going into these things that can just take on these small other armies' trash units that are trying to take objectives, go in there, clear them, and make your opponent actually have to bring something over there because suddenly they didn't take down a single spawn and there's 2 spawns sitting on that objective. Also, a big part with these guys, as I mentioned with trying to get the Bloodletters in position, these guys, when you destroy them, I can spend a command point and bring a squad of Bloodletters in place, whether it's to take the objective that I was already holding or to get them more forward on offense. So the spawn are really well suited to basically be a pseudo transport for my Bloodletters in that stratagem. And that's it. That is the list. So we're bringing 3 of the big guys today. Very excited to run this list. I think this could have some legs because when you look at it and you look at some of the armies, when you start building up your strong, heavy-hitting units, how much do they cost in points? Well, Scarbrand's 305, Bloodthirster with enhancements 325, and Angron comes in at the heaviest at 365. Needless to say, it's comparable in points. And with some of those things, when you're hitting Angron, you're hitting Scarbrand, you're doing damage to them, until you get them low, you're actually not removing anything from their actual damage output. Where when you attack a unit that has multiple models, you're starting to remove that unit's damage output all the way until it's gone. Now, with multiple weapon profiles and different guns in the unit, it can take time to actually get to the weapons that matter in that, and I can understand that argument. But needless to say, with these guys, it is still that same damage profile going all the way through. And when these guys hit, they hit. This is a combat army with 3 big combat monsters that we're bringing. So I feel pretty good about it. You know, it comes in under 1,000 points for those 3 units. And it's not everything that's doing damage. The Forge Fiends do excellent amount of damage that can also help bring Bloodletters to the front line by destroying units that are nearby, and then having the Bloodletters come in and then having the big demons follow up with a charge. The Spawn do actually do decent damage. Granted, it's going to be into very specific targets, but those specific targets are ones that are going to try and go, I'm going to take this objective and not dedicate too much. The Spawn are going to make them go, well, you're going to have to dedicate more than that. And then you have the Jackals, which of course will do absolutely nothing and just score points. But the thing is, they will could potentially score a lot of points. Being able to do secondaries, do actions, hold objectives, be in different points of the map to put out the sticky objective ability. So while the Jackals will not be doing any damage whatsoever, realistically, they can score a lot of points. So their damage is going to be done to the scoreboard. And then the Fleshhounds, as I mentioned, they're up, down. They have a decent profile, honestly. The 3 attacks, the 2 wounds apiece, make them actually durable and doing damage in combat. So realistically, I do have a lot. It's not like, oh, I just threw a whole bunch of trash in there. There is a lot of stuff that can do damage. Again, Bloodletters, that's 20 models. Those are 2 10-man squads that come down, able to do damage there to back up my big demons. So there's actually a very, very solid spread. I feel like it's pretty balanced with everything in it. The biggest thing is I haven't really run 3 big charging, hulking demons. So I'm going to have to figure out what the best play is for these guys, so I don't just run them out in the middle and get blasted off the field and go, oh, well, hope you guys like my demons. Hope they look good, because now they're back there on the table. So that's going to be a big part of it, is just taking a second and really thinking about where I need them to be for this turn and the next turn, and not getting too aggressive. And of course, utilizing rapid ingress, because all 3 of those big guys have deep strike. So it's just a matter of whom, thinking Scarbrand right now, but we'll see who will start the game in deep strike and be able to rapid ingress in and just smack into another unit the next turn. So, all right, guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.